Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So we take a look at this tight end room for the New York Jets offense, and it's safe to say we don't have much talent there. You know, we have some serviceable guys, Ryan Griffin, Tyler Croft, but we don't have that playmaker. We don't have that top 5, top 10, top 15 tight end. And in this style of offense, you know, the tight end contributes. Look at San Francisco with George Kittle. Look at the Raiders with Darren Waller. Who else? Look at Tyler Higbee with the Rams. All West Coast offenses, okay? And I just feel like up to this point, Joe Douglas and this Jets coaching staff have really taken a weird approach with the tight end position. I almost feel like it's been completely put on the back burner. Yeah, we're content with Griffin. We're content with Croft. We'll upgrade it eventually. That's the feeling that I get. To me, it just doesn't make much sense what the Jets are doing. I mean, honestly, when we take a look at the series of events, we're starting a rookie quarterback in Zach Wilson. You talk to football fans all across the world, whether you've been watching football for 30 years or 5 years. The tight end is supposed to be dependable, reliable. It's supposed to be that security blanket for the quarterback. You would think, hey, if you're starting a rookie quarterback, you might want to have a reliable option at that position. We're running a system that calls for production from the tight end position in the pass game. So you could be thinking to yourself, okay, well, hey, if we're down a guy at tight end, you know, if we don't have that much talent there, good thing we have tons and tons of wide receivers. Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Berrios, Keelan Cole. We have a lot of talent there. Let's get creative. Let's get a lot of wide receivers involved. Maybe at the running back position, we have 3 guys that can play: Ty Johnson, Michael Carter, and Tevin Coleman. This is an offense that already tries to establish the run. Let's really double down on that. But it really does seem like Mike LaFleur and Zach Wilson want to target the tight ends. They want to get this position going. Again, the targets are there. 25 combined targets between the two players. The only problem is there's no production. There is no, the targets are there. Zach Wilson is looking for the tight ends. Mike LaFleur is calling plays that involve tight ends in the pass game, but the production is simply not there. So all in all, we have a rookie quarterback out there that would greatly benefit from having some production at the tight end position. We're throwing those guys the football. We are drawing up plays for those players. We have a scheme that really calls for production from that position, and there's no production. Okay, so this obviously has to change. This can't continue through the rest of the season and, you know, of course, continuing on into 2022. It's just not a recipe for success. So the question turns to Joe Douglas, who in fact actually traded Chris Herndon right before the season starts, but I would have made that trade too. A lot of people would have made that trade. Just incredible value. But again, it just goes to show that, hey, maybe the tight end position might be on the back burner and we're thinking about the future. So I'm looking at Joe Douglas right now. What can he do? It's week 6. The trade deadline is quickly approaching. Okay, Zach Ertz off the board, officially a member of the Arizona Cardinals. That trade happened yesterday. Dallas Goedert, you could assume probably untouchable at this point because he's going to be the future tight end 1 for the Eagles moving forward now that Ertz is out of the picture. But there is a player out there who could potentially be moved by the trade deadline, and you guys called it. It's O.J. Howard of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The former first-round pick out of Alabama hasn't really lived up to the hype of being that round 1 guy. You know, multiple coaching staffs here, been in the league since 2017, hasn't played a full season, only eclipsed over 500 receiving yards once, and that was back in 2018. Just he hasn't grown into that dominant threat at the tight end position, something that the Bucs fans hoped for. I mean, the biggest strength, or one of the biggest strengths of O.J. Howard coming out, I mean, he had a lot of them, but his biggest was that he was a really safe player. Every draft analyst loved him. Super safe player. There was actually speculation that the Jets could have drafted him with the 6th overall pick. Obviously, we went with Jamal Adams, but nobody really thought Jamal was going to fall to spot number 6. I digress. The point is, people thought very highly of O.J. Howard, but in the league, hasn't really been there. The production has not really been there. You take a look at what's happening this season. He has 10 catches with a touchdown grab, 100 receiving yards, not anything crazy, not anything to really write home about, and he's currently buried on the depth chart behind guys like Gronkowski and Cameron Brate. So why in the world would the Jets give something up to go out and acquire O.J. Howard? Here's my reasoning. Here's my thought process. He is a massive 26-year-old, 6'6", 250 pounds, a guy who can make plays down the football field, huge catch radius, still has room to grow, entering his prime now. If he doesn't work out, the Jets are in the same exact position that we're in today. I think right now O.J. Howard would be an upgrade over both Croft and Griffin. I don't think he would, propel this offense into being a top 8, top 9 offense in the league. Not saying that at all, but I'm just saying this is an opportunity for Joe Douglas to swing. And hey, you can make an argument, when you swing, sometimes you miss and strike out. But you know what? Joe Douglas has been looking at pitches since he got the job at the tight end position. I mean, there's been tons of young, talented tight ends that have came out. Harrison Bryant, Cole Kmet, Hunter Bryant, Tommy Tremble. I mean, there has been some talent there. A lot of these draft picks in the 2020 class are not working out. James Morgan off the team. What's happening with Zuniga? P-Rod's buried on the depth chart. Ashton Davis, not really. I mean, the only reason why he's a starter is because Marcus May is hurt and LaMarcus Joyner's hurt. I mean, there's been a lot of questionable picks here. We have not addressed the tight end position at all. And yes, I do like Kenny Yeboah, but I think it's a push. It's a stretch to say, oh yeah, our plan is to develop an undrafted free agent at the tight end position into this top 5, top 10, top 15 guy. I feel like it's unrealistic to believe that, especially when everything is actually happening, when we're bringing Yeboah onto the team. If he was held in that regard to begin with, he would have been drafted. So it's time to take a swing. And like many of you have alluded to, OJ Howard is entering his prime now. Yes, he has not worked out, but who knows what the future has in store for OJ. Maybe it all clicks. Who knows? If it doesn't, hey, we're in the same exact spot that we're in today. Okay, so OJ Howard has that catch radius. He has that great size, 6'6", 250. He is not on some massive mega deal where the team is going to be inheriting a $25 million cap hit for the next 4 seasons. No, not in the least. We're not going to be handcuffing ourselves to anything. Okay, so you could be asking yourself, what's a fair price? What would you give up to get an OJ Howard in the building? Because at the end of the day, it's not a sure thing. And I would say this, because of the recent rumor with the Bucks being interested in Marcus May, I would trade. And by the way, this is assuming that Marcus May is not in the long-term plans for Joe Douglas and the solid defense. I would trade Marcus May. I would do it. I don't want to be in a similar situation that the team was in, Joe Douglas was in, with Robbie Anderson, where we don't trade him. We're not really competing. We're not really in, a tight playoff race. The season ends and he just walks and has a productive season with Carolina. It's like, how did the Jets benefit in that at all? We didn't. The Jets gained nothing from that. Nothing at all. Robbie Anderson pops off for the Panthers and the Jets are left with nothing except for Robbie Anderson's void at the wide receiver position, because we desperately needed wide receivers. This season, though, for Robbie Anderson, it's kind of a different story. I digress. The point is, if Marcus May is not in the long-term plans for this organization, it's best to cut ties with them and acquire something. So here's my proposal. Marcus May to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They need help. They need that veteran on the back end of the defense. He fits the Todd Bowles system. He has tons of playing experience with Todd Bowles, tons of production with Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles drafted him. Let's get him back with Todd Bowles. The New York Jets acquire OJ Howard and a 3rd-round pick. The Bucks, they're in win now. The Rams are calling about Marcus May. Other NFC teams probably have interest in Marcus May. In other words, they're competing against each other. If the Buccaneers desperately want May, if they're serious about adding that talented veteran on the back end of the defense, again, this is a win now team. They're shooting for the Super Bowl. What good is a third? Yeah, you can say, okay, well, a 3rd-round pick is always valuable, but to a win now team, it holds so much less value than a team like the Jets or the Lions or the Jaguars or, a team like the Falcons or something like that. You guys know what I'm saying. So they get Marcus May and we get a 3rd-round pick and their 3rd-string tight end, OJ Howard. I think that's pretty fair to me. And you know what? If the Bucks can only do a 4th-round pick and OJ, I would probably accept that as well. So I think the Jets, it's time to take a swing here. It's time to add somebody to this tight end room. I thought Austin Seferian-Jenkins a couple years ago when we acquired him gave the offense a nice little boost, a nice little charge, if you will. Granted, he wasn't the long-term option at the tight end position, but I felt like at the time, ASJ really did some nice things for the Jets offense. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Would you like the Jets to try to go out and make a push to acquire an OJ Howard, or do you think the team should just stand pat? For me, I do think I would try to trade for OJ Howard. Maybe he just needs to change the scenery at the end of the day. He obviously has all the physical tools. He's going into his prime. You never know what the future might hold for, former 1st-round picks. We've seen it all the time where guys flourish elsewhere. That's actually what Carolina's hoping right now with Sam Darnold. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.